Yo, welcome to DMUP Garage. Right, what are we doing today? Let's have a look. We've actually taken front spindles off. There's one on the ground there. And this is a 62 microbus. Everyone who hasn't seen it before. Here we go. And we actually have a straight axle kit in the back of it. And ride height's not quite right, so it's got adjusters in it, which one of them there and the other one up the top there. But we need to get the front lower because at the moment she's not running quite level to the ground. So we're going to actually flip the spindles. Had a look on YouTube and there's not really a lot of info on how to do them. I've done a few sets now, but it's been a while since I've done one, but we'll pull them apart. So that's basically just come straight off. Pick that one up, they're nice and heavy. You can see that was sitting in there like that on those pins there. And we'll bring it over here. Righto, so this little guy here, get there. That little guy there is a bolt which runs through that guy. And it actually stops you from moving when this is rotating in the bus. It's like a stopper, stops it going, but that actually has a little cutaway in the shaft and it'll stop it pressing apart. I'm retarded. Here we go, that's better. Anyway, so we'll get it in the press and I'll show you how to pull this thing apart. Righto. Small little press. It's a ghetto setup, but it works. What you need? What do you need to do this job? A couple of things. I got this pin here, which was actually an old steering pin, and that is going to run through here, and it's actually got not a lot of slop in it, but that's going to use that to actually push that part out. I made this little guy here just out of a bit of pipe. See that? I don't know what the wall thickness is. It's like, I don't know, 4 mil, something like that. Probably could be a little bit heavier than this, but it does work. G-clamp, a couple of these blocks of steel to go on top of it, and obviously the press. So to set it up, you got to get these little guys here, and you're actually going to bring the unit up inside that. Get a spindle, and we're going to actually pop this up through the bottom here, like so. Turn this guy. Just get him resting between the two plates like that. So he's just basically dangling now off this off the top shaft. And next thing we do, get this little guy here, and that's going to slip over the top like that. Now, because that wasn't thick enough, it actually wants to spread out once I'm putting the weight down on it to press this thing apart. So in true ghetto fashion, I'm just using a G-clamp to keep this guy from spreading apart. So I'm just going to line this up on here a little bit and just do that. That's good enough. A couple of these guys as spacers. We're just going to pop them on top like that. And then start pumping. Actually does make a bit of a noise when it lets go, and you think you've snapped something and you're freaking out, but it's all good. So just make sure we're doing the job. Yep, we're good. Now start pressing, and you'll hear it go. It's not. Let's try that again. Right, take two. Just got that clamp a little bit tighter, and we'll see if she releases now.
Get ready for a surprise!
Boom! There we go. And down it goes. That does make glasses went flying off. Does make a bit of a noise, but we can actually remove this guy now and just press it the rest of the way down. And it will actually come apart. Here we go. Make quite a rough. Take the pin out. There's your shaft. And there's that part there. So you can see that's what's happened. It's come apart from that. There you go. So that's just forced that down. And that's come off. Now there's a little fibre washer in here, and that is important because we need to use that again once we do the flipping. You can see there's a rubber seal. Chuck that one away, put a new one on. But that little guy there is important. We need to keep that. And then we'll get on to removing that centre section and we'll go from there. Got a container full of some petrol, or if you're in America, gas. And I'm just going to clean up these parts. I've just got a little brush and just get all the grease and crap out of the joints. And we'll start getting the rest of the disassembly stage. Just basically give it a bit of a clean. It has been cleaned up a little bit before. It's not too bad. That's probably good enough actually. Alright. So we've got to get this centre section off, and I think from memory, I think you just tap it out. Shouldn't be getting held in there by anything. Alright, we'll get that out of there. Gross. Probably should have put some gloves on, but yeah, whatever. There's the little needle bearings, I think they call them. And you can see I've given that actually a bit of a polish up on the linisher, just to make sure there wasn't any scoring or any flat spots, because that lot will obviously knacker those suckers up. But they're actually in really good nick, so I can reuse these, which I'm stoked, because they are freaking expensive, these things, especially in Australia, with the Aussie dollar being so crap at the moment. Anyway, so all those four are pretty good. Here's our spindle. That was the part that we pressed out of the on the press, so that's out of the way now. Next thing, you've got this little kind of spacer in here, so you can pop him out, and then you've got this part here. Now I'll just take him out. So that's kind of really the section's all pulled apart. There's some new bushes, and they have to be reamed in order to obviously get a tight fit on the shaft. You can see they don't even go on. So people buy them and go, what the hell, they don't fit. But yeah, they need to be reamed to a super tight fit. I'm not going to use them because I don't have any play. This thing is actually there's absolutely no play at all. So they're probably been done at some point, I don't know. They look like they're in pretty good condition. Even the shafts don't have any marring up, or I've actually just run them on the buffer there just to buff up the metal, just to give it a good look. And they're pretty cool. So yeah, I do have a pack of these new guys, but don't need to use them, so they can go back in for a rainy day. There's the two fibre washers, and they're, like I said before, they're important. We need to use those later on because they actually run on them, and they're not worn out. They're actually in quite good condition. Like I said, I reckon these have been replaced at some point. Cool. So next thing we've got to do, there is some clearancing that gets done on these things. So there's a couple of different methods. I know a lot of guys actually, they'll grind away. This section in here has to be, this part in here has to get ground back. And then I know a lot of guys in the States especially, they'll put a thick piece of metal on here and weld that on. Don't really like to do that. And I think in Australia it's actually illegal to do that. So our laws are a lot stricter over here than they are in the States with any kind of modifying with cars and stuff. So you can clearance this and just do it ever so slightly, and then you can slightly clear these parts of the dome there. You can just kind of taper the edge off a little bit, and you can make them work without really hacking into this too much. So that's the method I like doing. I don't like hacking away and welding a thing on. you know, some people reckon it actually weakens the metal if you're heating it up, and but yeah, I don't really want to introduce heat into this part just in case. I'm sure people say it's safe and all the rest of it. And then I think there's a little bit of clearancing on this part here. You've got 3 years since I've done a set of these. So yeah, it'll all come back to me. But anyway, we'll continue on.